focus solely on Cincinnati now. You know, you kind of look at how their season's gone for them, and of course they've gone through the quarterback carousel. But since Flacco's been there, they've looked like a different team. They're scoring points. Their running game's come alive over the last couple weeks. And really, it hasn't mattered who started at quarterback for them. They've played really well at home. They've scored over 30 points a game at home. And so we know how dangerous this team can be. And like a lot of teams this time of year, you know, you're pushing to stay alive. And so this is a big game for them. It's a big game for us as well. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up.
What went into the decision to sign CJ?
Well, as you can tell, we've had some injuries over the course of the last few weeks. You know, our injury report last week was pretty healthy, and then this week, same thing. We had a lot of, you know, we got guys dinged up and in and out, and so we have an opportunity. And he was available. He's a good football player. You know, there's a number of us that have been with him in the past, and so it's a good fit.
I imagine his versatility is probably pretty enticing. Do you envision him like starting in a specific place, slot corner with Kyler out, or how do you see that going?
Yeah, we'll lock him in one spot and have him learn the defense. You know, obviously he's been with DA, and so he should have some familiarity, but he's also bounced around to a few different other systems over the last few years, and so we'll see how quickly it comes back to him and whether he'll be ready to go this week or not.
Between the lines, he has a reputation of being a pest, I guess. What was he like outside of the lines when you were in Detroit?
Yeah, he ended up going on IR there for a long time, and so all I know is he's a competitive player. You know, felt that during training camp that year that I was with him early in the season, and then when he came back late in the season, it's the same thing. He loves being on the grass and playing football, and so we'll make sure that we have a good support system for him. You know, he's got a family, he's got kids that are important to him, and so we just want to make sure that we support him the best we can off the field.
With what you're trying to build inside your locker room, how do you assure that he adheres to the standards there? He has a reputation as being a little bit surly and at times combustible.
Yeah, well, we've got a very strong locker room. We've got a positive veteran influence in there. I feel very strongly about that group, and nothing's more important than our locker room, to be clear with you. So that's certainly first and foremost of any decision we make, who we bring in or who we let go, and so I think we're all aware of how important that is and the fit that he has with that locker room.
And this correlates to Kyler Gordon's injury. What is the realistic expectation of how long he'll be out?
Yeah, you know, we're hopeful it's on the short-term variety, and that we'll be able to get back here, you know, 4 weeks or so.
Ben, when we talked to you on Monday, you said you hadn't met about that last play of the game, the throw to DJ that went through the back of the end zone. What did you end up deciding there on maybe what should have happened for them to connect? And also, on top of that, just how do you feel right now about the chemistry between Caleb and DJ? Is it where you want it to be?
I think for all of our players to go on the second half of that question, that's always a work in progress. That's why a week of work is so important for us. I think the passing game, it's a continual evolution. You get new routes in each week, maybe some that you haven't thrown since early in the season or training camp, and so you got to make sure you stay on it so that you know where everyone's going to be, and you build that trust and rapport with each other. And so, you know, for that particular play, he's running the back line. He does have the ability to shut it down in an open window. You know, it's a unique look where there happens to be a second level defender in the area that he shut it down. Do I wish he would have stayed on the move? Sure, but I also know at this level that's open, and we have two really good players right there, and we can find a way to hook up.
Ben, Cincinnati ranks 30th in red zone defense. I believe most red zone touchdowns allowed. Do you see things that you can exploit on film for your red zone?
I haven't quite made it to red zone yet. That'll be Friday that I can turn my attention there. We're, you know, first and second down on Wednesday, third down on Thursday, and then red zone on Friday. is usually how we handle it. And so I'm not quite there yet. Here's what I'll say about their defense, though, is it's full of a bunch of young players that continue to get better. You know, they have two young linebackers, rookie linebackers that you can tell are super athletic. And, you know, I think the world of Al Golden. I've been with him in the past. I know he's a phenomenal teacher. And they're doing things schematically that can make it hard on an offense. And so the more reps that those young players have on their defense, they're going to continue to get better.
We've seen the chemistry that Caleb has had with Rome so far this season. Is there any danger at all of Caleb locking into Rome too much when he's making his reads?
No, I think Caleb has been pretty true to trusting the progression. And so, you know, we vary who is the primary on all of our concepts. And that's where, you know, as a play caller and you have this many weapons, you want to make sure that you've got all your weapons primary a certain number of times on the call sheet. And then when you call that play, it kind of coverage dictates whether the ball can go there or not. But it's just been one of those things that the ones where Rome has been primary, he's been open quite a bit. And so, yeah, it's good to see that they do have that connection and that rapport. And, you know, I think he's got that with the rest of the guys as well. We just got to make sure that we're getting him in that primary spot enough.
You said you wanted to lock Gardner-Johnson into one spot.
Mhm.
If I didn't hear this correctly, did you say it was gonna be inside or the slot, or are you guys still working on that?
It'll be inside for now.
What were some of those conversations with DA like, just in terms of deciding if it wasn't defensive?
Yeah, so I mean, DA knew him when he was a young player. He hasn't been with him for a number of years, and then I had a short little crossover period with him. We did due diligence. We talked to people that he's been around recently, and so it was one of those moves that we felt comfortable with where we're at as a team right now, where CJ's at in his career, that it's a good fit.
And as you seek answers to slow down Jamar Chase, when you see both his talent and the target share that he's getting, what strikes you with how he's playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a complete problem. He is that. He's just, I don't know how much you can slow him down. For a guy that I don't know anything that he doesn't do well. I mean, I'm turning on the run tape last night before I left, and he's down there blocking down the field for the runners. So, yeah, I think he's a complete receiver. I think it's all hands on deck to try to slow him down. I think we've got to do a great job marrying up our rush and our coverage, and making things as difficult as we possibly can for this offense.
You've seen with how quickly he and Flacco have developed, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Flacco's done he's had an incredible career so far, and it's still going on now. And to see him pick it up and get thrown in the fire that first week after he was acquired, and then he just has gotten better as these weeks have gone on, more comfortable in that offense. It really fits him well with what Zach and that crew they're asking him to do. And then when you have the weapons like that on the outside, I think it makes his life a lot easier. And he just knows he can throw it up and they'll come down and make a play for him. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive how quickly it's clicked.
And with throws over the middle in the red zone, are there certain things that you have to teach Caleb about, like the dangers of certain throws there, of just like identifying things coverage-wise that might lead him to a different option, just because the windows are tighter and?
Yeah. I mean, we're always very, very cognizant of what coverages we're looking to face down there. Last week in particular, we knew that inside the 5, it was usually cover zero variety, and that there wasn't usually somebody in the back half of the end zone. So we felt pretty comfortable about those backline throws.
And when you look at you guys pass rush, what isn't happening? What isn't firing right in that?
Yeah, there's. I mean, that's a deep question. We've got to capitalize on the opportunities when guys get one-on-one on a tackle or on a guard, and that's really what it comes down to. If it's a play action, then we got to transition to rushers fast. Last week in particular, we didn't build a lead on that team. We allowed them to keep the running game going, and we had a strong emphasis going into the game of stopping that running game. And so as that game went on, they were able to live in that movement and play action world, which makes the pass rush a lot more challenging, all in all. And so I do think when you look at our third down numbers, I do think that's indicative of how our pass rush, maybe not from a sack perspective, but from a pressure perspective, has been able to influence the quarterback and affect him. Not everyone agrees with this statement, but the hits and the pressures are equally important to me as the sacks are. And so I would love to be leading the league in sacks right now, but affecting the quarterback is really important for us. And when I look at those true drop back situations, that's what I'm looking at more than anything, is how much are we affecting the quarterback.
You mentioned winning the one-on-ones against, how are your top two defensive ends, Sweat and Odengbo, doing at that? I
think Sweat has started to ascend over the last few games. I'm pretty pleased with how he's playing. Dio has been really good as an interior rusher, and I thought he played a really strong game last week in the run game. It was his best game yet this season. But on the edge, we're still working on that. Thank you.